about it. And, I mentioned public funding, but at the end of the day, the bulk of our funding is philanthropic. And so I would encourage your listeners to look at an organization like Father Joe's Villages, who is effective in what it's doing, that helps those not only who are on the streets, but the community at large.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune, and we are back with Kim Bauman. She is the founder of One Love Movement, joined by her colleagues Mimi Lee from San Diego Refugee, Tutoring, and Stephen Moore, Chief Program Officer for Voices for Children. We're talking about right before break about how our listeners can get engaged with you folks. And Mimi, do you guys have a website?
We do. It's sdrefugeetutoring.com.
Right. So how can our listeners support your efforts?
Yeah. Honestly, we probably ask our volunteers for two of the most valuable things that a person can give, which is your time and your finances.
Of course.
I think primarily your time is so valuable to us and to our students because we are a one-to-one tutoring program.
Right.
We really need people to come in at least once a week for an hour and a half or probably more with the commute to spend time with our kids. And so that's one way that you can contribute to our organization. And another is if you don't have the time from 5 to 6:30 on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, which most people have a hard time making it down to City Heights during that time, you could give online on our website. There's a give form that you can use, and we take credit card, and yeah.
Do you also look for, books at all? Can people send you books? Obviously you don't want to have tattered books. You want to have books that make sense. And is there a certain grade level you want to focus on, or it depends?
Yes, absolutely. We take in-kind donations as well. We do have 3 seasonal book giveaways where we ask for gently used or brand new books. We really do prefer the brand new because we really want to give our kids the best.
Right.
And so you can contact us. You can contact me, actually, Mimi at sdrefugeetutoring.com if you'd like, to provide an in-kind donation, and then I can help coordinate that.
Right. Now, do you work with groups like the San Diego Council on Literacy at all to get books? And the reason why I say that was founded by our late publisher, Mrs. Helen Copley, in 1986. I've been fortunate enough to be involved with that group for a long, long time, and they're always working with organizations like yours to provide books. Have you worked with them at all?
I don't believe so.
So now you will. So,
yeah.
Yeah. San Diego Council on Literacy. Jose Cruz is the CEO there, a long-time partner of the San Diego Union Tribune, and your organization would be a perfect one for them to help get you books.
Yes, I'll have to write that down. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, please do that in that area of it. Is there a waiting list to get your services? Are there, like you said, you serve about 60 to 70 kids a week, right? Is it only during the school year?
Primarily during this. So tutoring does occur during the school year, and we follow a year-round schedule because Ibarra is also a year-round school.
Right.
But we do have extracurricular events and field trips over the summer.
Okay.
And we do try to plug in some committed tutors to work with certain specific students who really need that extra support during the breaks. And so they will go to their homes, actually, and read to them and things. Yeah.
Right. Now, do the students, they must come from all parts of the world on this, and is there a certain area that they're focused on more? Is Somalia or, Vietnam or Cambodia or whatever, or they're just everywhere?
There are definitely certain concentrated populations in our program. So we have students from the Congo, from Burundi, Syria, and lots of students from Burma, so specifically the Karen population within Burma.
Right, yeah. Exactly. Does that take a certain type of tutor or not really? Anyone just wants to work with them, that's fine. As you mentioned, they have to go through some training, of course.
Yes. So we are very open in terms of volunteers who come in because we really want our students to be able to interact with as many diverse types of people as possible so that they can integrate themselves into American culture and sort of be acculturated here and get used to the different ideas and experiences that different volunteers can provide. We do have some translators who we work with, and so it is of course, really, really helpful
Sure.
when we have someone who comes in who does speak Swahili, and we're like, yes, can you help us, please? Like,
Sure.
talk to this student's parents about what he or she might need.
Right.
So we do have some volunteers who do have these amazing language skills. Like Arabic is also very helpful.
Right.
And so that really helps us get in touch with parents, but we don't make that a requirement or anything like
Do you
that.
work
It's
with
just a
the
plus.
IRC quite a bit?
We do have some contacts at the IRC, and they do support us quite a bit.
Right.
And so they're definitely friends of ours, yes.
Right. So, Stephen, talk about what we can do for Voices for Children, and what do you see the organization in 5 years from now?
Oh, wow, Drew. I think what we can do for Voices for Children, I think spreading awareness about the foster care system.
Right.
The foster care system can be one of the best kept secrets. And we are always looking for capable and committed volunteers to work with our children, whether you're looking to work with one child specifically and have that one-on-one connection, or possibly a sibling group and keeping those children in close relationship during their time in the dependency system. We also, I think, from a donor standpoint, if you're looking for an organization that is going to give you a high return on your investment, that's what Voices for Children is all about. Our team is absolutely committed to that, and we're excited about a lot of things over the next couple of years here. One of the things that we're excited about is continuing to either triage, support, monitor, or provide advocacy to every single child in our foster care system in San Diego. There could be upwards of 3,000 children in care here at any time, and over the course of a year. And we want to make sure that really no child is going to slip through the cracks of our bureaucratic system, and that they're all going to get what they need, and we're going to be able to provide them the highest quality of life and the most opportunities that we can while they're in care with us.
No, that's great. What's the website?
The website is speakupnow.org.
Okay. Right. And do you work closely with groups like Just in Time for Foster Youth?
Just in Time for Foster Youth is one of those organizations that does critical work when it comes to the transitional age youth that we serve here in San Diego. We work with Promises to Kids,
Sure.
all the organizations, Center for Children, all the organizations that you've brought up.
Right.
We work with all of these organizations, and we try to collaborate as much as possible. We try to get what these organizations provide to our kids, actually to the CASAs, to our children, so that they can get referred and they can participate in these great programs.
Yeah, it's I'm so glad you said that. And of course, Tanya's been on a bunch of times from Promises, and of course Don Wells is a frequent guest on the show, and so forth. And just again, Laura from Homestart, and all the ones and work with on this. And again, as I mentioned, thanks to you folks, you're just doing such unbelievable work on this. And I think what's so important about this, whether it's working with the Refugee Tutoring, and of course your heart is larger than a solar system, Kim, on this, and what you guys have been doing for 40 years, Stephen. Trust is so important, and especially in your world, Stephen. Not that it's not important in Refugee tutoring with Mimi, but adults have let down these kids, and they deserve to be distrustful of adults because they've been let down so many times. And one of the things I think is so great, Don makes this point, as does Tanya and so forth, and groups like yours, is that it takes a while to build that trust up, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and it takes sometimes a long period of time.
Right.
We ask our volunteers to commit to no less than 18 months with our organization because, like Mimi said, consistency is really important when you're working with in a situation where there is a high level of distrust, particularly towards the adults that come in and out of your life. And so that's one of the things that we hold in very high regard and priority at our organization, is that commitment and that long-term longevity. And because after you start to break down those initial barriers, that's really when the trust can start to take place and the real work can be done.
Right, and and with that, now that they have some faith that there's an adult that's not going to let me down, that's going to just transform into how they look at work, how they look at housing, how they look at just integrating even more in the community. It sounds obvious, but for those people who have not been in that situation and can't imagine that. What do you mean this person's never been told that they're loved, or they've never been hugged, or they've never been, and the exact opposite has happened. They've been told that they're no good, is unfathomable to folks like us. Okay. But it's out there, and you never can lose fact on that. Kim, 30 seconds. What can we do?
I just want to piggyback on what Stephen said. So I'm a foster kid myself, as you know that.
I do.
And
I do.
I didn't know until we started supporting Voices for Children in 2019 that it never occurred to me that, you've got babies and 2-year-olds and 5-year-olds that are going in front of the court system, and a judge is determining where that kid's going to sleep that night. And so can you imagine being a 5-year-old and not having someone that knows you and that understands your story? Can you imagine going in front of the judge and not having anyone speak for you? I mean, that I just have chills right now thinking about that. So I didn't know about that myself. And so I just think it's so important to capitalize on what
Absolutely.
he just said.
Okay, so one more time, your website?
OneLoveMovement.org. One is spelled out O-N-E.
Very good. And yours, Mimi?
SDRefugeeTutoring.com.
And Stephen?
SpeakUpNow.org.
Well, I can't thank you all enough for coming in here and the work you're doing. It just makes this region a much better region, to say the least, in so many different ways. And I know we'll have you folks back on sooner than later. How's that sound?
Thanks a lot,
Sounds
Drew.
great.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Kim Bauman, Mimi Lee, and Stephen Moore just doing terrific work in our community. This is another edition of the Spotlight Show here on Cloudcast. We are brought to you by Retirement Insurance Group.
Thank you for listening to a podcast from Cloudcast Media, the digital media home for leading local brands. When it comes to amplifying your brand, a Cloudcast-sponsored show offers unbeatable value. Learn more at cloudcast.us.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180, the 3-minute lightning round with changemakers here in San Diego. We're here with Ed Heiner, 20-year Navy SEAL, best-selling author, and education entrepreneur. Ed, welcome to the Cloudcast 180.
Thanks for having me.
Your book was called First Fast Fearless, so let's hit this fast and fearlessly. Real quick, you created a program to help change lives of high school students around the country. It's called SEALpreneurship. Tell our audience what it's all about.
Well, it's about leading yourself. Getting a PhD in me, I teach kids how to take care of themselves and lead themselves first, and how to be their own entrepreneur, intrapreneur, if you will.
Is it something you think public education is lacking, this concept of self-leadership?
Absolutely. It's a mindset that kids don't get. My son doesn't get in his school. The kids don't get it. It's something that, we're educating them, but to be mentally tough and be able to take charge of themselves and accountable for themselves is very unique.
Okay. I've seen an overview of your curriculum, 23 evolutions, and you have a 23-minute podcast series. So what's up with 23?
Chromosomes, right? It's all in all of us. We're all the same. 99.9% of everybody in this world is the same. And we use those chromosomes, 23 pairs, which was one of the concepts we teach as swim buddies, never be alone. Mm-hmm. Always work with someone else, collaborate, and be out there.
Bro, that's a lesson for life for sure. Ed, you were in charge of basic and advanced training for the U.S. Navy SEALs, and I mentioned you're a 20-year SEAL. Tell our audience the greatest lesson from the SEALs that have changed you forever.
Probably in the back of a helicopter one night in Iraq before I was getting ready to fly into an Al-Qaeda target, it dawned on me that when a pilot said, you have this many souls on board, it dawned on me that the opposite of fear is love. It's not else. I don't fight for what I hate in front of me. I fight for what's beside me, behind me, that I love.
Wow, it's a powerful concept. Wow. You've talked a lot about the blue-collar scholar as a concept. Fascinating. Tell our audience, what is the blue-collar scholar as it relates to your SEALpreneurship program?
It's a mental concept where people take control, don't outsource their life. Look, we're going to have people that are in white coats, suits and ties, doctors, PhDs. That's fine. Listen to that and learn your information from them. But eventually, you got to be that mechanic in your own life. You got to turn the wrench. This is happening. So basically, take control of your own life. Use what you can use from other people. Discard it, what you can't, and make that your own. Leadership is something that you do. It's you do with people, not to them. And one of the best forms of leadership I learned in the back of that helicopter is called MOM.
Ed,
Focus on mission, others, me.
Mission, others, me. Ed, thank you for being here. This has been the Cloudcast 180. We hit it fast and fearlessly. We're out.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.